Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin, Perkins, and Jim Fowler. Most of us have seen movies or television shows where sharks have been portrayed as marauders who prey on unsuspecting swimmers or smaller fish in the sea. But many Wild Kingdom episodes illustrate how sharks and other predators are an important part of the food chain in our underwater world. Oceans cover 70% of our planet, yet we still have much to learn about this important ecosystem. Modern technology has enhanced our ability to study the ocean with minimal disruption to their habitat. Human involvement in recent legislation to protect underwater creatures allow for the resurgence. There's more good news to come in the Wild Kingdom, so sit back, relax, and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Mutual of Omaha.
Hello, welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. The world is running out of space. Within the short span of my own life, man's need for more and more land has threatened the survival of our entire natural world. Can you imagine a world without magnificent wildlife and natural beauty? It would surely be a desolate place.
Man is waging a battle against this threat of desolation. All around the world, weapons as odd as this gun that fires a drug, an ordinary can of paint, and a net are being used to capture and tag individual animals so that they can be studied. Animals as dangerous as a lion, as slippery as a seal.
Today we'll travel nearly halfway around the world to take part in such captures and to see how man is fighting for the survival of the wild. We begin here in the fabled Sea of Cortez in Mexico. Aboard our research ship, we await the return of a team that's been catching sea turtles. With me is Merv Larson of the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum, who's studying these reptiles. Our swimmers have captured a fine specimen. As he goes safely on board, destined for the holding tanks, it's time to leave on our first capture expedition, hunting California sea lions. Our weapons aren't guns, but paint cans. These barren atolls are where the sea lions breed and where we hope to catch and tag a cow and her pup. Andres steers for the outer islands. It's here the big bulls keep their harems and the young are born. A herd, but there'll be no pups this far from shore. So we go on. This big island looks well worth investigating. Closer to the beach, the water boils with sea lions. Our only hope is to catch these seagoing monsters on land, where they're slow and clumsy. Tom Allen carries the net and Merv leads the way. The herd is on edge, and we have to move cautiously. A young female. She must have a pup nearby. We'll net her while we have the chance, then look for her offspring. Merv and Tom circle to get above her, keeping out of sight. Just about ready. Now! Got her! But getting her ashore is a different problem. Tom and Merv have their hands full. Unless they can beach her soon, she'll escape. Now that she's out of her element, her flippers aren't much use. But she can bite. We'll have to be careful. She's a slippery customer and still full of fight. Luckily, her nose got caught in the mesh. We'll get her if that one strand just holds and that bull doesn't get too nervous. Missed her, but she soon comes up to breathe. And now the struggle begins all over again. Compared with an 800-pound bull, she's pretty small, but her strength is amazing. Still, there are limits, and she's giving up the struggle. Despite all the thrashing about, the sea lion hasn't been harmed by the tussle, only tired out. But now the herd is stirred up, all except one old bull. This time we're not taking any chances. The can contains a special waterproof marking dye. By spraying her neck in back, she can be identified while swimming. She'll help marine biologists to plot the migration patterns of the herd. She soon rejoins the rest of her herd. She won't abandon this area, so her pup is probably somewhere nearby. If we can tag him too, we'll have done a good day's work. There he is, nestled among the rocks. He's as soft and warm as a ball of down, and much too young to be afraid of us. In fact, the umbilical cord is still attached where he was joined to his mother. He must have been born just this morning. Soon he'll be learning to swim. That'll be something worth watching. By marking him with this harmless dye, we can follow his growth. Okay, little fellow, you rest there. Mother will soon be back to find you. Sea lions marked for future study, helping scientists help them to survive in the wild. From Western North America, we traveled to Natal, South Africa, where one of the biggest moving jobs in the annals of conservation is taking place. This area near the Umfolozi River is the last home of one of the world's rarest mammals, the white rhino. When Ranger Daniel spots one, our unique capture expedition begins. We must approach the rhino on foot, leaving the Land Rover with motor running, guarded by Assistant Ranger Nkombi. Ranger Reischauer carries the capture gun that fires darts filled with an immobilizing drug. This is an amazing sight. Wild white rhino grazing next to domestic cattle. A peaceful scene, but we know how quickly it can change, and tension mounts as Ken Reischauer aims. We missed. We mustn't lose them. Our two cowboys take off. It's up to them to keep the rhinos in sight. In this dense bush country, you can't see much from a Land Rover, but from high in the saddle, our cowboys can. And they soon lead us to our objective. John Daniel has the capture gun and waits for the right moment. Bullseye. In about 20 minutes, the drug will immobilize the animal. Until then, we dare not lose sight of it. We're off on a wild rhino roundup. They're running for the hills. Our cowboys race to head them off. Already, they're in the very dense bush country of the foothills where our Land Rover can't follow. If the horsemen lose our rhino now, we're done for. Our cowboys keep close, and because the rhinos are tiring, they are actually able to herd the great 4-ton monsters back towards the open plain. The noise they make smashing through the undergrowth disturbs other families of white rhinos. Now our rhino's almost on the plain, and we can follow in the Land Rover. Suddenly, it gives us the slip. It's lost somewhere behind those thorn trees. Our only hope is to circle back. And there it is. By now, the immobilizing drug should take effect. I'd better be ready. It's in no pain, just tranquilized, so that phase 2 of this unique moving operation can begin. First, a very heavy-duty rope must be tied securely around his head. We'll see later how this rope is used. Next, the carrying crate is unloaded from the truck. Then a syringe is filled with an antidote, while other rangers stand by. The correct vein is located in the ear. The excess drug squeezed off, and just the right amount of antidote is injected to neutralize the immobilizing drug. In a short time, the rhino will come to. Everything's ready for the next important step. He's reviving, and using the rope, they'll pull him into the crate before he recovers fully. Look out! He missed the open door of the crate. The rhino's dragged back. He's still not fully recovered, and everyone lends a hand pushing and pulling 4 tons of rare white rhino into his new temporary home. The back door must be locked, barred, and bolted before our prize recovers and tries to break out. One final touch that explains the reason for this capture expedition. The white rhinos are overpopulating this area and are being moved to game reserves in Rhodesia, where they'll have a chance to survive and increase in numbers. As they start loading the crate onto the truck, It's interesting to note that here is yet another example of conservationists working for progress. As more rhinos are moved out, this land is being opened up for African farmers and for the advance of agriculture. This is a great and unique moving operation that benefits all, both man and animals alike.
The task of marking an animal as dangerous as a lion presents some special problems. Drugs are not always successful with big cats, so we decided to use a trap something like this. When a lion walks into the net to take the bait, a pole that's been placed in the fork of a tree is triggered, allowing this heavy counterweight to drop down, which lifts the net around the cat with lightning speed. But first, the lions have to be baited into the area. Each morning, for almost a week, we checked to see if the lions were coming to the bait. At least 2 are showing up consistently, a female and a young male. This is what we're waiting for. Before setting the trap, we had to be sure they had established a predictable eating pattern. A female dares to eat only after the male. The young male must have been hungry. He didn't even leave her a scrap. The bait has been placed near a rocky pool. Lions usually drink after a meal, and he's no exception. The female should be hungry enough to come back later in the day. This is perfect. As soon as she leaves, the trap can be set up. An hour later, and we've hung the net. Johann Berloof hasn't trapped lions alive before, but he's an expert on their haunts and habits. Building a trap like this takes a lot of effort. I hope it works. Our guide wants nothing to do with this project, but does agree to cut some brush. The net is placed near bushes on purpose. A little brush leaning against each corner, and the heavy nylon mesh will be well camouflaged. Lions are smart. The more camouflage, the better. Now for the bait. A chunk of zebra rib, a lion's natural prey, is secured to a loop of heavy gauge wire that's fastened to a buried log. One should never underestimate the strength of a lion. He shouldn't be able to move that. During the past week, the lions have become accustomed to having human scent near the meat. However, it still pays to dust away as many of our tracks as possible. Now for the trigger. Even though the pole acts as a lever when placed in the fork of a tree, it requires a lot of pulling to take 600 pounds of weight off the trigger rope. At the end of the rope, a strong stick hooked around the tree acts as another lever. A loop of wire over its end and the trigger's in place. This way, the wire loop can hold the entire weight of the trap, and yet the slightest jerk will pull it off. Except for the trigger line, the trap's complete. The line is a thin wire cable. It won't stretch and is long enough to reach the safety of the Land Rover. All set, and just in time. The lions will soon be returning. They're back. At least the female is, and it didn't take her long. She must really be hungry. She's suspicious, but hungry too. A thorough investigation that seems to take hours, in reality takes only a few moments. And then, she's taking the bait. No good. I couldn't pull the trigger. She wasn't in the center of the net. Now that she's had an appetizer, maybe she'll be less suspicious. Now. We've got to hurry. Even a nylon net can't hold that dynamite for long. Our only margin of safety will be her desire to escape. Johann makes sure the ropes are holding. All of a sudden, she gives up. She's in a state of shock, but not for long. This is our chance to mark her. That red dye should do it. Now for the release. The net is dropped. Let's get out of here. It worked. She's well marked and unharmed. It's strange that in this modern age we know so little about the king of beasts. With a red patch on her back, she can now be traced as she moves through her haunts. This will provide scientists with valuable data to help ensure her survival in the wild.
Not so long ago, it was man who was forced to struggle against nature. Today, nature must struggle against man. For man has dealt harshly with this earth. He has plowed under forests and plains, stripped away the soil, polluted rivers, and fanned poisons into the sky. The question now is, can the wild survive? Can it be saved through conservation methods? The answer is, it must. What satisfaction would there be in a man-made world all concrete and steel? What's better to save for the future than a part of the world that's at least natural and real, where seals frolic in the surf, where the rhino charges from the bush, and where the lion is still king? Surely man will be the ultimate loser if he allows himself to destroy the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.